today looking at simplifying ratios. I have referred to this in my previous 2 ratio videos on how to write ratios and equivalent ratios. Unfortunately, I can't link those videos in the comments anymore because YouTube has stopped that ability. However, if you go to the playlist for Year 8 Maths, in Year 8 Maths Term 3, you'll see these ones listed. So for simplifying ratios, we need no units. Ratios don't have units in them. We don't want to have any fractions, and we don't want to have any decimals. So for the first one, we've got 7:21. So we don't have any units in there, we don't have any fractions, we don't have any decimals, but we do have a common factor between the 7 and the 21, and that's what we'll deal with first. So we're going to divide both sides by 7, and we get 1:3. Now, if you've got a 1 in your ratio, you know you're in your simplest form. Otherwise, you're looking for any common factors between the two. Here we've got 450:200. So to start with, I'm going to divide both sides by 10 by crossing out a 0. And then I get 45:20. Then I'm looking at those two going, well, I know there's another factor of 5, so I'm going to divide both of them by 5. 20 divided by 5 is 4. 45 divided by 5 is 9. I look at those two numbers and see if there's any common factors between them. And no, there isn't. So that is my simplest form of that ratio. Then I get to some fraction ones. So I look at the bottom number here, and I've got a 5 and I've got a 2. So the lowest common multiple of that is 10. So if I multiply both of them by 10, that should get rid of my fraction on the bottom. The other option that some people go with is making it both the same denominator and then just taking the denominators away. So if we multiply by 10, we would get 10 times 3 is 30 over 5, and then 10 times 1 is 10 over 2. So we will get 5, and we will get 30 divided by 6. 30 divided by 5 is 6, and we will get 6:5. The other way where we change it to the same denominator is if we change them both to over 10, then that means we would have times that by 2. 5 times 2 is 10, so 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 5 is 10, so 1 times 2 is 2 there. Sorry, 2 times 5 is 10, so 1 times 5 is 5. Then see how we've got the 10 on the bottom. We can get rid of that and just write the 6:5. So both ways work, whichever one you're more comfortable with. So looking at the 2 1/3 and 1 1/4, their lowest common multiple is 12. So this might be one where you even want to do these on your calculator and go 2 and 1 on 3 was my first fraction, and I want to multiply that by 12. That gives me 28. And I've got 1 1/4. And I want to multiply that by 12, and I get 15. Then I look at my 28 and my 15 to check if I have any factors that go into both 28 and 15. And I don't, so I'll leave that as it is. Then I've got some with units. So I've got 4 millimeters and 2 centimeters. I want to change them to the same unit. I'll go to the smallest unit. So I'm going to keep my millimeters and leave my 4 millimeters there. But my 2 centimeters, I'm going to make that 20 millimeters because I know that there are 10 millimeters in a centimeter. Once I've got the same unit, I can then cross that out. That gives me 4:20. And I look at both of those numbers and see I have a common factor of 4. So I'm going to divide both sides by 4. And I get 1:5. Now I've got a 1 there. I know I've got my simplest ratio that I can write for that. The last one I've got is 25 minutes and 2 hours. So I'm going to go for my smaller unit, which is the minutes. So I'll leave my 25 minutes there. And my 2 hours, I'm going to change that to minutes. So that's 120 minutes. Then I'm going to look for common factors. So I know I can divide both by 5. So I get 5 minutes is to, actually I should have gotten rid of my minutes straight away. So I'm going to scratch that out. My 5 is 2. Now 120 divided by 5 gives me 24. So I have 5:24. They don't have any common factors, so I'll leave that there as my final answer.